reaching over 650,000 people from around the world. This is the Gridcast, and I am your host, Danny Cox, and with me is my co-host. He's a box owner and a grid enthusiast, and he's got big balls, and she's got big balls, but we've got the biggest balls of them all. It's Kona Bruce.
Conan, bro.
Oh, yeah, Conan. My bad.
Softo.
All right, man.
These matches this past weekend, are you kidding me?
Oh, my God. Nail biters.
Kona balls busted everybody's balls.
I loved it. It was awesome.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. What do you do on Instagram?
Follow on Instagram?
Follow us on Instagram. And tweet us every once in a while.
One of those things. So on Quadrant 1, we're going to talk about the Western matches. So we're going to recap the matches there. And in Quadrant 2, we're going to talk about the Eastern matches and give you a preview for the matches this weekend in Miami and the Alameda Fairgrounds in San Francisco.
I like your shirt.
Yeah, Jerry
old school
Rig.
now.
It is old school, right? You got to be a fan from last year.
Shout out to Jerry Hill.
And then in Quadrant 3, we have Miss Colleen Fotsch from the San Francisco Fire. Since I picked San Francisco Fire to lose this past weekend, and that was it's only the second loss I've had so far in prime predictions. So I figured we needed to give a little shout out to San Francisco and pull back one of their guys for Quadrant 3. I just feel like it's the right thing to do.
It's a good time to say that Adam Wells, assistant coach of the San Francisco Fire, busted my nuggets, busted my big Kona balls.
Yeah.
Day in and day out leading up to the match. He said, you're going to regret going against us. And I was the first one to say, oh, so sorry.
Oh, so sorry.
so sorry.
We were very wrong.
We were wrong, and I like being wrong.
Oh, I like being wrong, too, because it's not predicted. Like, you can't predict all of them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's go ahead and start the show.
See you there.
We love to lift, laugh, and improve. This is Björk Odinsdatter.
I know I said we're going to do the Western Conference first. I lied. We're going to do the Eastern Conference first.
Why would we do the Western Conference first?
Western Conference, well, I'm going to do the Eastern Conference because I'm going to go in the order of the races.
Absolutely. Hey, before we get going,
I'm
going to shut you down for just a minute, Danny.
Yes.
Can you zoom in on that, Tyler? Can you see that? So these guys came by our gym this past weekend and told us about this race, and I think it is badassery. As a matter of fact, on the front this says #badass. So it's run and gun race. It's just like a Spartan race. Don't sue us if that's copyrighted. It probably is, whatever, trademarked. Run and gun race. So it's October 3rd. It's here in Maryland. And it's going to be badass. So what you do basically...
We saw this guy on Saturday. We talked to him for a while.
It's like a Spartan race or Tough Mudder, but with guns.
Yeah.
Now, as
airsoft guns.
Yeah, airsoft, sorry.
Airsoft.
But they're I mean, they're not real. But they're metal. They're like... If anybody has ever done one of these like obstacle course races, all right, first of all, I always kind of like poo-poo them because like I did it for 20 years. They paid me to do it. Like I ain't paying you to do it. I ain't paying you to go get fucked up. Like
right.
But this one is kind of cool. Like it will blow your mind how hard it is to shoot a target after you just climbed over a wall. And you're shaking.
I'm sure.
Anyway, want to give a big shout out to these guys. Run and Gun. It's RNG Racing. RNGRacing.com. Everything they're doing out there benefits the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, which is a great foundation. We love them. And this episode is brought to you by Tullamore Dew.
Oh, my God. It's delicious, too.
Tell us about the Eastern Conference, Danny.
Yeah, well, first I also want to give a shout-out to Robb Hollen. Robb Hollen was the rain man for me. He was awesome. He actually – so what I normally do is I take all the teams and I break them all down and pretend that they raced each other and stuff like that. He basically broke all that down for me, and I really appreciate it because what that allowed me to do is watch all the matches again for a second time and figure out why the teams actually lost or won.
If we had a T-shirt to send you, we would.
Yeah, totally.
I don't even have a Gridcast T-shirt.
So some of the stats that I'm going to go through came from Rob, so I just want to give a shout-out to him and say thank you for that.
Amen.
Okay, Boston Iron versus Baltimore Anthem. Let's talk about that first.
Oh, #blowout.
#blowout. So Baltimore really showed a lot of heart in the first couple races, right? I mean, they really tried. It was within milliseconds for the first 4 races or so. After that,
I shouldn't say blowout. I mean, the final score makes it look like a blowout. But
dude, where was Klokov?
In Russia.
Well, so I reached out to the Baltimore camp, and I asked where Klokov was, but I didn't get a response back. So I don't really know where Klokov was. I know it was expected that he wasn't going to be there because they knew he wasn't going to be there. But, man, his presence was missed in partner forward and the men's echoes. And it was obvious that he missed out there. And the mirror, actually. I think because they were so close, within milliseconds of Boston, they probably would have pulled the victories out in races 1 through 1, 2, 5, and maybe 6.
Here's the thing. Here's what people are going to see, right, in grid. It's only going to get worse, better, however you look at it. Things are going to be decided in milliseconds sometimes.
Oh, my God, yes.
Just like every fast race, right?
Yep.
If you do one thing wrong, there's high potential you will lose because of it. Now, all you can hope for is the other team screws up too, and you can catch back up. But we're going to be shaving seconds here over the years. It's going to get more and more like this. And you can't, and I'm sure there's a reason why he wasn't there. There obviously is, right? He didn't just no-show or anything, right? I mean, he wasn't supposed to be there. But, man, it would have been great if he was, because
he's the guy that would have handled those Kona stones, I think, better than anybody else out there. His presence was definitely missed. But you know who really was awesome at the Kona stones? Whitney Galin. She tossed around those things like they were freaking beach balls.
Butter.
Like butter. And also the unsung hero, they aren't going to really hear when people talking about it, was definitely for Boston was Jamie Gold busting out 40 pull-ups in the echo races like they were just nothing. And so she did really, really, really well. Some side notes, Hannah Caldas, she did some clean and jerks in the ground to overhead in Quadrant 4 of the echoes for the females. Everyone else is doing snatches, and they lost it by half a second. And I think that was the difference maker. Now, I'm not questioning Hannah and her ability to snatch it.
Right.
I think that she was probably worked a whole lot before that.
Right, and it may have been a decision to be able to. I mean, it's always a hit or miss. Do I snatch fast and then have to take a break at some point or switch out people?
Yep.
Right. Do I have to sub, or do I clean and jerk and I can go the whole way?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Until it comes down to what the other team's going to do, and you don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you can guess, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know.
You know what was awesome about these races is that extra point was never a given.
No.
That was awesome to see. I love the fact that you could potentially have 0 points in the race. Every other format that we've seen, a match format, is pretty much everyone's getting that extra point.
Yeah.
It's already
so
given.
One of two ways to make that happen is the programming, right? The movements and the structure of the match, structure of the races has to ramp up to the place where you might not finish,
right?
Which sometimes though might get a little old,
right?
Like it could go both ways, or you institute a rule like we've talked about and other people have talked about.
Yes.
You institute a rule that says if you don't finish within X amount of time of the other team,
like let's say 30 seconds,
whatever,
15 seconds,
right?
something like that.
And maybe it changes based on the race.
Yeah.
If you don't finish within a certain amount of time after the team that won, you don't get the 2 points.
I freaking love that idea.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something they look at in the future.
How many times this weekend? How many times? And I don't want to focus on the negative because I think this was an awesome weekend for grid. I think there were some great matches, great races. But there were several times you saw the athletes when they knew they were beat. They were like, half-assery.
We're going to talk about that actually. That benefited one of the teams for doing that, by the way, later on. So this was the first time, I'm bringing this up because this is the first time ever in the history of grid that people saw two teams not finish a race. And that was in race 6. And that wasn't the first time it happened all weekend. There was only one team that actually ended up finishing race 6, and that was New York. And we'll talk about them a little bit later. So a couple highlights from that match, too. Not only was Whitney Galin awesome and Jamie Gold, but Devanya Long, 40-plus athlete, ended up pulling 405 pounds in the ladder. So that was pretty impressive. And then we also saw Baltimore. So one thing, Garrett and Baltimore crew that I've noticed this season.
So we're not just schwitzing here. It is like 99 degrees in the gym today.
And it's humid.
Even with the fans and all, because it's freaking humid in Virginia.
It's freaking humid.
Today. And we did this crazy-ass workout somebody programmed.
What a jerk. I think his name is Conan I Hate You, Bruce.
Kona balls.
So, okay, Baltimore, consistently in the ladder, you're not getting everyone through the race with enough time to get to all their different bars. And that has got to be fixed for next year. And I know that, now that you're going to have an off season, you can take a step back and do lessons learned, stuff like that. And I know you have the players to really be superstars in the league. And I think that you will, right? But that race 7 has got to be cleaned up because there's some issues there with not everyone getting enough time. Like Liz Warren only had 10 seconds to get the bars at the very end there. And so that was something that I think needs to get fixed pretty quickly. Race 8 through there. Mike Abgarian, that dude is so freaking fast. He's so Alex Smith, for instance, he's smooth, but he does these really long, like, he can get all of them done, but he's just not fast at the movements. It's very CrossFit-like, or gymnastics, beautiful gymnastics skills.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say, you're right. You corrected yourself. It's not. I wouldn't say it's CrossFit-like.
No,
and when we say that, we mean like, because most people just, they just kind of pace themselves and kind of, maintain that engine is like just way below red line. But in grid, that's not the case. But you'll see some of these guys like Abgarian who just churn that butter quick. Just go.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, it is as smooth, but they're just faster.
Remember last week, so I'm just trying to jump forward, right? Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. So last week,
forward,
we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this 9-foot rope, right? That was up there. But you talked about the 9-foot rope as it's swinging everywhere, and you compared it to rings swinging everywhere.
Yeah.
Something that affected Baltimore in race number 9. Liz Warren just stood there and stared at the rings that were going wing a wing a wing a wing a wing a wing, and it cost them 10 seconds in race number 9, and they ended up losing because of it.
You cannot do that. You cannot.
It killed them. So the final score ended up being 20-9. Fun fact of the day, Boston would have beaten every single Western team and would have tied San Francisco and would have gone to gridlock without any extra bonus flags and stuff, showing that the Eastern teams, they showed up to play this past weekend. And it was not the case. If you look at week 1 matches in San Jose, that was not the case. But the Eastern teams have now shown that you can't really mess with them.
Can I say I'm excited about Boston?
Oh,
I'm excited about
absolutely
Boston.
You can.
And I'm not a huge New England fan. I mean, sports fan, right? Yeah. And I know there's a few people that are going to throw rocks at me on the internet for this. Because now I should
finally
take that,
they can throw it at you versus throwing at me because holy crap.
I should take that back because I'm not a Yankees fan. I don't even like baseball that much at all. But I know. Sorry, Danny.
Shut your mouth. I'm about to actually refer to baseball in this episode. You don't even know.
But I like the Red Sox. And my partner here at the gym for many years is from Boston.
All right, I gotta go.
I'm a huge.
You like the Red Sox?
I'm a huge Boston fan, like as in the city. Like I love Boston. I also love New York, but not as a sports way. But where I'm going with this, though, is like I finally have a Boston team that I can really root for.
Hey, Dan, that was for you, me walking off, by the way. Just FYI. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm throwing you off.
No. I'm excited about Boston. I'm excited about it because.
No, I'm excited for them, too.
New coach. I mean, new this year, like.
New-ish.
Yeah. I mean. Josh isn't a new coach. It's like he didn't just pick up the coach title yesterday. Right. But, like, oh, man, I'm excited about this. Like, this is a good – like, I got to say, East Coast versus West Coast.
Oh, yeah. East Coast is winning right now. What up?
East Coast.
We're such dorks. Okay.
So ungangster.
So we're going to talk about Sunday morning's match, which is the DC Brawlers versus the New York Rhinos next.
I love this match.
Oh, my God. This is an exciting match. Now, if you remember last week, we said – that this would be a very close match, that it was not a given for DC, and we predicted a 19-15 win for DC. And what was the final score? 18-16 DC.
Pretty damn close.
I think I nailed that one.
PDC.
I think I nailed that one. And so I'm talking to you, Brawler Brigade. And so I've said throughout this year that if I could nitpick anything on DC, it was the DC men. Right? Now, nitpicking, I mean, you're talking about cream of the crop. And if you can nitpick anything on the cream of the crop, you're talking about the DC men.
You got to find something
you have
to critique.
Because everyone has improvement
you got to find something to critique. Otherwise, we're just kissing their ass.
So in Kilimanjaro,
we refuse to do that.
Kilimanjaro races in DC, Baltimore this past week, I had some Brawler Brigade people come up to me and say, I think you should issue an apology to the DC Brawler men for calling them out and losing a couple steps. Well, Brawler Brigade, I reclaimed victory this weekend because the DC Brawlers lost in both the Echoes for the men and they lost in the Triad. So I expect an apology from you.
Just got spicy in here. I just started sweating.
Sorry, Lisa. You may get some hate mail for that. And I love the Brawlers. Look, I'm wearing a jerry-rigged shirt. I have not.
We're in the unofficial Brawler house.
Right. Okay.
We got some Brawler love, but
we are a podcast that has to be critical and they have to look at.
We're sports analysts first.
We are analysts. We have to.
But
okay.
I know you're going to point some of this stuff out, but I just want to say though, I think that was one of the best matches of the weekend.
It was the best ever seen.
For
grid.
For the last 2 seasons, because I mean, most people were on the edge of their seat. If they follow the sport, for sure they were on the edge of their seats, because there was a light there that was shining through that said, DC's going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
DC's going to lose.
Oh, I really thought they were going to lose. When it was coming to the 11th race, I was like, whoa.
The only reason I didn't think they were going to lose is because I saw that look in Coach Kotler's eye.
Well, they had the secret weapon of Tim Paulson.
Oh, don't go there yet. Don't go there.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's get into the match. Let's don't go there.
So, fun fact of the day again, right? New York, if they would have played any other team that weekend, would have won.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the 2 best teams for Kona races facing each other.
Eastern Conference.
No, for all of them.
Period. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's what you saw there. And it was really amazing to watch. Some highlights of the match. DC's the only team to break 30,000 pounds in the deadlift ladder. Holy crap.
Just wrap your brain around that.
Surprising to see the women lose the second half of the Echo.
Yeah.
New York was the only team to finish race 6 of the Echo, so that was pretty cool. Nora Koppel. This woman is outstanding and barely speaks a lick of English, right? But she was cycling the bar faster than Becca, Taylor, and Maddie.
Yeah.
It was unreal. That girl showed some real power. And New York was running on all cylinders. And I have to say, New York really showed up to play this weekend. I really thought they were going to be good at this race format, but not that good. They really, really were stellar. And DC showed chinks in their armor a little bit. They had some communication errors on race number 10 in the triads.
First time we've seen that.
Communication errors in race number 9. Right. Now, something I want to say, though, about the handstand walks that were in the triads later on in the match. A lot of teams had communication errors, and I don't know what it was. If it was the refs that were there that weren't saying the right reps or something, there's confusion everywhere.
Don't blame it on the refs.
Well, I mean, refs are supposed to be greatly hated across the board, right?
Right.
And they know it. They know what they're getting into. But yeah, so it was that was really rough for all the teams across the board. But Dojois in race 10 couldn't finish out the wall balls. So that costed DC a lot of time in race number 10. Also the handstand walks. Ryan Elrod got kind of confused there with the communication with the handstand walks. So that was pretty rough. But I'll tell you where this match was won was race number 11, and it all comes down to Kotler and the coaching team.
Yeah.
They held Tim Paulson back just like they did in the format in San Jose when they had the walking lunges.
And who was that?
That was Con Porter back then. But Tim Paulson came. Yeah, I did a thing. Yay! This time it was Tim Paulson. And the other team should take a lesson from this race format. When you have that walking lunges and you're holding 70 pounds in each hand over your head, and you have to walk freaking 20, 40, 60, 80 feet across the grid.
I tried to do that with 2 35-pound kettlebells today.
Oh, yeah?
Not lunges. I think most people could do the lunges. What he did
was sprint lunged. I don't even know what that was.
He never stood up.
Yeah, he didn't.
So all he did was just basically stay in the lunge position and just switch legs back and forth.
Yeah.
Try that at home, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
It's freaking impossible.
But that was the difference maker.
Yeah, it was.
He
owned it.
Oh, my God, it was awesome. And Andrew Rape tried for New York on the other side, but Andrew Rape had a lot going on during that whole match. He was used everywhere.
I can't imagine. Well, there you go.
He made it to Quadrant 4.
Yeah, there you go, though. But you cannot – you have to have something left in race 11. You can't use somebody that you've been using the whole race. If that's the person you go to, guy or gal, you're done.
And that was the absolute difference maker. I mean, DC won it on that movement.
And you
have to give Kotler and the coaching staff the credit for that.
Yes. You can't get much stronger than Andrew Rape.
No, you can't.
If that guy can't do it, it can't be done.
Right.
Right? But he was tired, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure everything in him wanted to finish, and I was watching it just cringing.
Yes.
Because you're just watching the pain in his eyes, and you're like, oh, crap, he's not – you can't.
No.
At certain point, your body says
I just wanted
no.
to go out there and give him a hug. It wasn't his fault. He just busted his ass the whole race through. He just didn't –
they had a lot of heart. New York was on it. I was just like
and they were crushed after that loss. They did so well, and I know they were trying to get their playoff
because they were going to be the first team to ever beat DC.
Yeah, it was really, really
It's going to
close.
happen.
But anyway, so that's the Eastern
Might be
Conference.
Boston.
Eastern Conference came to represent over the weekend, which I thought was incredible. And let's get on to Quadrant 2, and let's talk about those Westerners.
Chill more, dude.
Western Conference. Let's do this.
Do it.
You ready for this?
I am.
All right.
Had to
Because
grab
we
some-
also had to do the predictions at the end of this. We gotta.
I had to grab some water because that Tully was kicking my ass.
Oh, dude, I finished off my glass. I
You're
know.
a stud.
Check that out. All right, so Miami Surge versus San Francisco Fire. All right, so let's just get this out of there. Let's get this in the air. I predicted Miami Surge, but the San Francisco Fire ended up winning this one pretty handily. And but you know what though, I am 8-2 on the whole season.
What's the Gridmaster?
Are you talking about the Grid Amateur?
Yeah.
He is 7-3, which is not bad. It's one step behind.
Looks like a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, bourbon's gonna be tasting real nice out in Anaheim.
I like some Patty Van Winkle.
He predicted Phoenix to win the whole thing, and I don't even know if they're gonna make the playoffs.
I know, but you know what? I again, let's keep watching Phoenix though. Probably not this season, right? Maybe not. But
They could make the playoffs.
I know. We'll talk about Miami Phoenix in a minute because that's coming up
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
But I just don't leave Phoenix out to dry. There's some great talent there, great coaching staff. I don't know. I'm looking for Phoenix in the long term.
Oh, yeah.
Not this season,
Yeah.
but long term.
No, I follow you. Okay.
You tracking?
Standout performances. Have you ever heard of Tyler Cummings before this match? 'Cause
This
I
weekend.
hadn't. Before this weekend? I hadn't.
Yeah.
But that dude tossed the Kona balls like they were little golf balls.
Nothing.
It was 250 pounds. Oh, what was that? I don't even know what that was. It looks like an inflated balloon. It was crazy how good Tyler Cummings was. And
Big shout out.
We did not see that coming at all. And that dude helped them out and partnered forward. And both of the men's echoes, that he was a standout superstar for San Francisco Fire. Another standout superstar was Benny Gerard. So he is the whole reason why they won the mirror race, because they were down by 17 reps before quadrants 3 and 4, and Benny Gerard just hauled ass through that mirror race, and so did the females in that one. But he had to do both quadrants in 3 and 4, and it was pretty impressive for San Francisco. Also Colleen Fotsch was really amazing, and she's going to be in quadrant 3.
I'm just impressed you're nailing these names.
Dude, all I needed was some whiskey, and I was good to go. So Miami, Nicole Capurso was definitely a workhorse for Miami. She was everywhere. I hadn't seen a player play that much in any of the matches, and she never slowed down.
We're not going to take credit for it because she's an amazing athlete, but where did she play with the balls?
Here.
Right here.
Right here. As a matter of fact, right over there.
Right over there.
That's where she practiced those
But
balls.
I mean, God bless her. She came out, found out where they were, right? Wanted to train with them. Like I love seeing that in athletes.
Yeah.
Like they will, a good athlete will hunt it down and figure it out and do it, right? And
Yes.
as she did, and it shows. I mean, she's a great athlete anyway. But like, if you see Nicole,
you wouldn't expect it.
I mean, she's not like massively huge,
Right.
Especially if you see her like in day clothes, you'd never know. But this girl,
well,
is
it's because she's got her
strong.
nutrition on point.
On point. She's
On
definitely
point.
in good shape.
She's definitely in good shape.
Yeah.
That girl actually, when she was using the Kona balls and she was doing that, was it stone to over the box? I think it's called something like that,
Yeah.
right? When they were trying to do the transition where she was doing it by herself when they were getting ready for the pull-ups later on, or chest to bars, I can't remember which one. Anyway, she was faster single-handedly than anybody else was using two people going back and forth.
Yeah, she was owning it.
It was unreal. Another big shout-out for that match was Jolene Undershoot. She was extremely fast in all of her cycle times when it came to doing anything on the freaking rig. That was amazing. And she's the sole reason why they won in the triads when she did some front squats.
Front squats.
That just blew everyone away. Again, another one that Miami was winning, and then she came back and won it with the 17-rep deficit. Pretty amazing. So I want to talk about the strategy that San Francisco employed that no other team did until we saw LA do it sometimes. And I don't know if it was intentional or not in their match, but San Francisco definitely had a strategy for the stone over box. Okay, so every other team, let's pretend this is the box, and let's pretend all that crap isn't there, right? And they had the cone stones. So the players, they would be kind of the side thing, right? And they would guide it down, try to get on the hop, and then do this like twist with their body to try to get it over the box, right? San Francisco did something completely different, and it's genius. They stayed there with baseball stance right here, right? So when that ball came, and it never came out perfectly across, right? So if you're standing on your side, and let's say the ball comes to the side here, you have to readjust your body, fumble to get the ball back, and then try to get it back across here. But if you're in a baseball stance and you're waiting for that thing to come across, you're adjustable anywhere, right? And then the other thing is, too, it's almost like a clean movement. You put up here, and you just thrust up, right? You just pop it off your hips, and it goes across.
Why is that a baseball movement? Is that not a football movement?
Well, I'm a baseball player.
Okay, because in football, we did the same thing.
Yeah, I'm a baseball player. So in the field, you would field a ball, and it's a ball coming across, right? You would field a ball like this, and you try to get in the hop.
It was a little ball. This was a huge ball.
So when I was on a baseball team, if you had a ground ball come at you and then you went to the side and did this little wussy thing, right? You were running laps.
Yeah, you got to square up.
Yeah, you got to square up, and that's exactly what they were doing, and that's what it reminded me when I was watching the match.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because they were worried about this big ass ball coming at them.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe they thought. I mean, usually lateral movement is not going to be as strong like this. Right, it's just not going to be. You're going to want to square up to it just like this. So if it comes at you, if you're going to push someone away from you, you're going to want to do it like this. You're not going to want to do it like this.
Right. Right. Yes, absolutely. And in the female echoes and in the first half of the men's echoes, they all made a difference of these reps, 6 to 8 reps, and each one of them for San Francisco, 6 to 8 reps of the stone over box is a huge difference between, like, let's say 6 reps on chest to bars. That may be 2 seconds. This is more like 10 to 15 seconds. It was a huge difference maker for San Francisco, and it's one of the reasons why they kind of bashed Miami in those races. And I kind of feel bad. I really thought that Miami was going to crush this, but unfortunately, and I think they had the strength to do it.
Right.
But San Francisco just was really methodical about what they did.
I mean, I think if we're being honest, and you tell me your opinion. I mean, we were unsure. Let's just be honest. We were unsure what the coaching change, how it would affect the team.
Oh, absolutely.
We didn't know, right? Yeah. And as we can see, the underlying process, the underlying system, as with many good sports teams.
Yep.
If a coach, and then there's always more than one coach, right? There's assistant coaches. There are a team of people that coach a team. If they create a system and one coach leaves, as long as the system stays intact and the team stays on board with that system, it's usually going to work. And I think that's what happens with San Francisco is you take out the head coach, you bring in another coach. As long as that coach looks around and goes, you know what, this is not broken. This is not broken, right? Let's do this, right? Let's do what you were doing, and let's go, team, right? And I think that's what happened. I think the rest of the coaching staff was there. You got guys like Adam Wells. You got the owners didn't change, right? Yeah. The management didn't change. It was just the head coach. So we've been big San Francisco Fire fans, and I don't think that's going to change. We're probably going to see them when we're out there in Anaheim. Yeah,
absolutely. And race number 9, I just want to give a shout-out to Hannah Richards. So she was doing these handstand walks. She's the only one that did it, right? I thought it was so dope when she did it. She did a handstand walk just like you see everyone else, right? But as soon as she hit the other side, instead of, like, stopping, regrouping, turning around and going, she hit the other side and then just went backwards. She just went backwards all the way across the other side, then ran back and took someone else's last lap back.
Yeah.
That was amazing. She was really dope in that race.
I'm hoping we're going to see more and more and more of this in grid because you're going to see athletes that know.
Do I need this? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Go
ahead and talk.
It's really hot in here, folks. It's like Arkansas hot, and I lived there.
And I'm fat, so it doesn't really help.
You're more svelte than you were.
I am. I'm definitely trimming down. All
right. But the bottom line is, you're going to see I'm not going to name any names because I don't like to talk negative about athletes personally, right? I don't like to pinpoint them. I'm talking about teams, right? But in general, I saw a few athletes this weekend. And please, guys, you got to get better at this. That just have this mentality of just gutting it out, right? Of I'm going to grind, I'm going to do it, and then you know what?
There's typical functional fitness mentality.
There's somebody out there on your team that has the energy that has either been rested enough or it's their jam, it's their thing, and maybe something didn't work out right. So my point being is, like, when she comes back and does the rest of the race and does, like, for instance, and I'm getting a little ahead because it's another team that we're going to talk about, but there was this one point where you see the end of the match, the athlete just grinding away at the movement.
Yes.
And all the athletes are sitting there clapping their hands. Come on, you got this. Dropping the weight. Going, what the fuck sport are you playing?
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is I was just losing my mind. All right,
this
keep
isn't
going,
the other functional fitness sport.
No, it's not.
So remember you were talking about the 9-foot rope climb where wing, 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 wing. That definitely happened in Miami in race number 11. You know what's so sad for Miami? They were in every race, and they had a lead almost every race, but San Francisco found a way to come back and win by the end of Quadrant 4. It was just soul-crushing because Miami would be like, oh, we have the lead, we're going to take it, and then they would just, oh, damn it, lost it right at the end. So I think it was a really big emotional hit for Miami.
But we see that in so many other sports, particularly football, that's fast-paced, and soccer kind of. Not with scoring, but with with ball changing from team to team. But when you have like really really fast moving sports, like you can see something slip away so easily. Like it was there for a second and it's gone.
Oh yeah,
and that's what like keeps people on the edge of their seats. I think with grid.
Oh yeah. So fun fact of the day, since we're doing fun facts of the day, right?
Is this the 14th fun fact of the day?
As much as we thought Miami got beat by San Francisco, Miami would have beat Phoenix and LA.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty impressive.
Would anybody not have beaten LA?
I
didn't mean to say it that way.
Probably Baltimore.
Okay.
I think that's about it. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the other race we just kind of.
I think LA and Baltimore are going to boycott our show.
They are. Well, I don't really
just
care.
win.
That's fine.
God
I'm
bless,
just kidding.
win.
Please win. Garrett, please win next year.
Baltimore's our home team.
I know. I really like them. And I think they have a lot of potential. It's just, it's inexperience. They just had their first year. They're going to go into their second year. All right, LA versus Phoenix. LA versus Phoenix. So this was an incredible match. Just like the D.C. Match versus New York, this was also awesome way to cap out the weekend. Oh, forgot to mention. In the Brawlers match, I forgot to mention, Sofia Vergara was in the audience watching. So
I know.
That's pretty dope.
And her boy, Magic
from Modern
Mike
Family,
guy.
Sofia Vergara.
The Magic Mike guy? Her boyfriend.
Was he there too?
He was there too. There was a picture of Annie Thorstadter with Sofia.
Oh my God!
For real?
That's really cool.
I know it is cool. It's cool that she got to meet Annie.
If my wife would have known that he was there, she probably would have been on the next flight out there trying to steal from Sofia Vergara, which I wouldn't blame her for. It's fine. Okay.
I'd probably go home with both of them.
So let's talk about the LA versus Phoenix match. It was James Townsend's big reveal, and in the mirror race in Quadrant 1, he costed them the race.
He costed?
Cost them?
Cost.
You know what? I've had this lovely...
Tully. We call that Tully around here.
So I said costed instead. That's just how we roll. James Townsend was so slow at those hang cleans for the mirror that it gave Phoenix a 20-rep lead after just Quadrant 1.
Well, and we
Holy
you
cow.
guys, you and Tyler were there when he was signed to the team, right? When he was picked for the team. It sucks just because look, this guy's he played a high level of football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know he's got power. You know he's got speed.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
You know we've got Redskins and other professional football players that work out
here
in our gym.
Yeah.
And when you watch them, regardless of their form, sometimes is horrendous.
Yeah, but they're so powerful.
They're so fast and powerful they can overcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
will
do.
sling a barbell like nobody's business. So you just got to wonder, like, what happened?
I don't know. And I tried to look at the tape, but unfortunately the replay didn't really capture all of his movements too well.
Right.
They were mostly on the Phoenix side for that race, so I couldn't really see what was going on. But what I did see, he was readjusting his grip a lot and was hanging out down here a lot before he would actually go into the clean. And it just, like, the female's just sitting there like this, just waiting.
Going, please, God, would you just
just finish it.
Clean the house.
It was awful. And so anyway, I don't know what happened there officially, but it just didn't look good for that race. Now, the LA women, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, did the baseball/football stance. Ready? With the
Sure.
ball.
Yeah.
They did really well. The LA women did. But when it came to the men, you just can't beat Danny Nichols when it comes to the stone over box. That dude is just sick. And Blaine McConnell finishing on Quadrant 4.
I get scared.
With the ground to overhead.
I get scared on this side of the TV.
Yes.
When I see
Danny
his
Nichols?
eye. When I see Danny's look in his eye, like I'm like,
Are you saying eye or eyes? That's mean. Don't do that.
oh, I didn't even think about that. No.
Sorry, Danny. We're just
No.
messing with you.
In his eyes, like that dude has a passion and a hunger and a fire that
Yes.
you can't freaking.
Oh, you can't. He is intimidating. He looks
I
like
love
a
it.
bull is going to tackle
love
you.
it.
Oh, it's
If
awesome.
I'm ever in a bar fight, I want him beside me.
So New York is the only one that finished race number 6. Remember?
Yeah.
Phoenix was 2 reps away from finishing race number 6. It was really, really, really close. But you know what's interesting? LA just phoned it in, race number 6.
Yes.
Totally phoned it in, which was genius because they came back and won the total and the female total in race number 7. And Phoenix was just spent.
Well, do you think if we the potential rule that we talked about earlier, where
Yeah.
if you had to finish within so many seconds of the other team,
Got rid of that shit.
right? Would you be able to do that?
No.
You wouldn't be able
Which
to
is
do that.
great.
Yeah.
But you
And I
watched them phone it in.
can't-
And
but as a fan-
I saw in Miami
as a fan,
too.
I hate that.
Miami in race number 6 too, when there was 15 seconds left and I think they had 15 reps to go. You saw Doug Chapman say, "Slow down, you're not going to finish."
Right.
And so they did. And
They're
so
saving energy.
and I get why.
I know the league probably does not want them to do that, but it's human nature.
We're probably not
It's
supposed to
common
notice
sense.
those things, but you know,
Hey,
I'm
but here's the
frickin'
thing.
Rain Man.
We're talking about all these matches.
Yep.
You know why we're talking about all these matches?
Why?
Because they were live streamed. Thank you, league.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
The fans.
And
thank
it didn't
you.
have to be perfect, right?
No, it
it
didn't.
was awesome.
There were so many fans hitting us up, offline on social media, right?
Yes.
Asking us can we please have these matches live streamed? And we know it's like it's a huge undertaking to make this happen. There's a lot of matches going on right here at the end of the season, but thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that was awesome.
Thanks, Lee.
Okay, so on to race 8, part of this format. It was a shite show. I think they had given so much in races 1 through 7 that both teams just weren't hitting on all cylinders when it came to race 8. Pretty rough to see. And then race 10 was a total shite show again for LA. When they got to Quadrant 4 for those front squats and the triads, they just couldn't do it. None of them could do any of them. And it was awful. So Phoenix ended up pulling out race number 10. And then race number 11, Valerie Calhoun was amazing with the chest to bars, gave him a 3 to 4 second advantage. Marcus Philly with the thrusters gave him another 4-second advantage. But then Conan basically predicted this sucker. When he saw the 9-foot rope climb, right, and Hernandez was trying to jump up there, and it was going wing, 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 and every time he jumped up, it was whiff.
It was paining. It was
jump up
it
whiff.
hurt me because it wasn't a 9-foot rope climb at that point. It was probably like 11 foot.
Yeah,
because
it didn't stop whipping around too. It just kept
Let's
whipping.
back up a few matches here and talk about DC Christian Harris.
Yeah.
Right, we had him on the show for an off the grid, and we were talking about how you
just caressed the ring.
We had him in here.
That's still 9 feet up.
That's 9 feet up right
That's
there.
10 feet actually.
Yeah. It is 10 feet because they wanted it higher than normal.
Yeah.
So that, anyway, we watched him just easily whacking that thing 10 feet high. Even he struggled for that third rep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if and Easy Muhammad, Easy made it look easy, but then he only did 2, ran off, and got subbed out. That one confused me.
Okay,
so
dude.
There's a reason.
We have a minute left, and
We're
I got
about
to
to
get these
run
2
out.
predictions out
Let's do it.
there. Okay, this weekend, Miami versus Phoenix in Miami. I'll give you the quick and dirty. This is going to be a back and forth race. It is going to be one hell of a battle. If you're in Miami, go see the freaking match live because this is going to be incredible. Yeah. I looked at this and I stared at the facts and I tried to figure it out. I know Coppola and Uranker are going to be used a lot. Danny Nichols and Blaine McConnell are going to be used a lot. Nicole Caperso and Brooke Wells are going to be used a lot. Amanda Goodman and Jessica Phillips for Phoenix are going to be used a lot. It is going to be one hell of a match. But I have to give home court advantage to Miami. And I think Miami's going to
And if you're in San Francisco, go see their home match.
So San Francisco at the Alameda Fairgrounds, we got 30 seconds left. For LA, okay, San Francisco's just going to clean the house. 23-13, San Francisco over Miami. So
That's for you, Fire.
let's head on over to Quadrant 3 with Colleen Fotsch from San Francisco.
We'll see you there. We stay on time.
Hey guys, so in Quadrant 3, we have Colleen Fotsch from the San Francisco Fire. I made the mistake of last week predicting Miami to beat San Francisco, and I said, you know what, as a mea culpa, I needed to put someone from the San Francisco Fire on. And Colleen Fotsch was happy to join us on the show, so thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, so I really thought that Miami was going to be a formidable foe this past weekend, especially since they have really tall players, and because of that, they have big wingspans that could get over that ball. But your San Francisco Fire team obviously showed that you guys can handle balls way better than Miami can handle balls. So, so how did you guys prepare for that match? What made you guys so dominant in that matchup, in that format?
So I definitely want to give Miami some credit. I mean, a lot of those races came down, like most of them do, down to, within a few seconds of each other. Yep. So some were extremely close, and they did great. But I think we were extremely prepared for that match. We had a coaching change, which, sometimes can be good or bad. And I think, we were all sad to see Jeremy step down, but Ben has been awesome. And especially for this match, I think all of our coaches, the assistants, head coach, did a really good job at strategizing for this and putting the best players in the spots that they needed to be in. And I think just the fact that we were practicing transitions over and over and over again until they were second nature, and we didn't really have to think about that once, they say 3, 2, 1 race. So I just think the team had a lot of confidence going into the match with all the preparation we had done.
How much does the plan change when you actually get to match time?
I would say, when we start camp, we do a lot of testing just to see, because I think everyone on the team is extremely talented, but it's a matter of, because the races do come down to seconds. So we all test, make sure, that we're putting the fastest people in the spots they need to go. And then, once we get to the match, we have a pretty concise plan of what we're going to do, reps. We know exactly how many reps we're going to be doing, when to transition, when to tag out. Sometimes little things don't, always go as planned. Luckily, we didn't have too many of those, but it's really cool because when stuff like that does happen, for example, there's been a lot of talk of when Jolene had to do an extra 5 front squats, which is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
She was beast. We talked about it earlier on this episode.
Oh, okay. Also, she is just an amazing person, an amazing athlete. And it's so cool that, to be on it. That's the point of being on a team, is when, your body can't go anymore. You've got a bunch of other people that are willing to pick up the slack when you can't. So stuff like that, is bound to happen. But I think what's really cool about the San Francisco Fire is that everyone's willing to put the team before themselves. So when you don't think you can do it for yourself, you're willing to do it for the whole group.
So with the coaching change and Jeremy Jones stepping down, you said that there's not, because everyone was really involved anyway. Was Jeremy Jones still involved somewhat?
Yeah, he's definitely, from a strategic standpoint, has definitely been helping out and has been coming out to practices. And obviously, his heart is still with us, and we miss him and he misses us. So he's still definitely a part of our family, I would say.
Well, that's awesome. Well, so you took care of business last weekend, and this weekend coming up, you have the LA Reign at home at the Alameda Fairgrounds, which is pretty awesome. That's got to be fun to do it in front of a home crowd, almost like the San Jose match.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what's the game plan going forward? Are you guys having nightly practices, or what's going on this week?
Yeah, so this week we're going to do a few run-throughs, just working on transitions, just being quick on everything, making sure that we're not, obviously that we're practicing at race pace, but not, we're still trying to recover a little bit from the match, making sure we're not too blown up for this weekend. So just, staying prepared. We've already been practicing for this match in the past few weeks of camp too, just so we didn't waste any time.
Right.
Like Sunday in Anaheim, we had Miami Saturday and then woke up Sunday morning and already started practicing for this weekend. So we're definitely ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I really love the fact that you guys just had a weekend match last weekend, and then now there's another match coming up this weekend. As a big fan of the sport, I was really wanting this season, and I'm hoping that next season it turns out this way, that maybe there's 8 matches, 6 to 8 matches, something like that, going a weekly basis, because that's the way that really you get fan involvement. And we've seen from our just from the Gridcast side a big jump up in people's participation in threads and talking about it and viewership, stuff like that. So it's really exciting to see that Grid is going back-to-back matches, which is pretty fun this time period. So let's talk about you. So what was your sports history growing up?
So I played probably every sport imaginable growing up, and I'm so thankful to my parents that they let me try pretty much everything. And then in high school, my parents, were like, you got to narrow it down to one. So chose swimming. Went to Notre Dame my freshman year to swim, transferred to UC Berkely for the next 3 years, and absolutely amazing experience, and spent about a year trying to figure out what I was going to do. Obviously very competitive, loved to compete. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, loved lifting weights, but, typical girl, was afraid of getting too big and all that stuff. So, a year later found CrossFit, and last year during the combine, people were telling me about Grid. I had no idea what it was, and I think I'd heard about it the week of the LA Combine, and at that point I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go down the week of. I don't even know what this thing is. Right. And ironically enough, I still coach. I coach at UC Berkeley, and the San Francisco Fire had a match here last year, and I really wanted to see what the sport was all about, and ended up volunteering as a scorekeeper, and definitely was dying to get out on the grid and play. So it's kind of cool how things come full circle, and so excited that I'm part of this sport and this team.
Well, you're definitely a standout athlete for the team. And last time when we were in San Jose, we spoke to JJ, and he couldn't talk more highly of you. So yeah, you're an awesome athlete and asset to the team. But okay, so you stuck to one sport in particular, which growing up, which was swimming, and you have quite a bit of accomplishments. Why don't you brag a little bit about your accomplishments in swimming? Which is, by the way, which I think is crazy, is that it's not unique on the grid field. There's actually quite a few athletes who are swimmers in the past, which I think is interesting. You have gymnasts and swimmers that are pretty popular in there. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, it's a little funny. Usually swimmers are known to not be very agile on land. So
I'm not agile now, but back in the day when I was like 12 years old, I got 3rd in the state in butterfly.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Now I look like a porpoise in the water, but I still know how to get around. It's fine. So okay, talk about your swimming accomplishments.
So at Cal, we were national champions my junior and senior year. I still have an American record on a relay with 3 other girls for Cal. We got it my junior year and then broke it again my senior year. Wow. So that was probably one of the coolest things ever. And I qualified for Olympic trials in 2008. Swam in it, qualified again in 2012, but decided to not go. But yeah, so.
That's awesome. Those are really good accomplishments. And yeah, you had 2008 Olympic trials, is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's really, really, really impressive. My mom actually had in the Junior Olympics, she had a record that held for 11 years in the backstroke.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, so what do you like to do for fun? Outside of the grid and outside of, the craziness that is life, what do you do for fun with friends and stuff?
So honestly, I mean, I love training. As dorky as that sounds, there's not a whole lot that makes me happier than going to the gym. Some days, are better than others for sure, but I've through CrossFit and through Grid, I've met so many amazing people that I now call best friends, including my San Francisco Fire team. And it's kind of cool that I was talking to one of the assistants, and he was saying, when he's recruiting everyone and, signing everyone, it's kind of cool to see everyone come together. And now we're so much more than teammates. We're really good friends. But honestly, on weekends and stuff, just being by a pool or beach, just hanging out with friends and family. I'm super close with my family, and just being around them is plenty. I'm usually kind of running all over the place during the week. So when I do have downtime, I just like to be super lazy, couch potato, watch TV, movies. So not very
awesome.
exciting. But
It's pretty obvious. There's a few teams out there that have really good cohesiveness, and you're talking about friends and being friends with the San Francisco Fire. DC Brawlers is one of those teams that have very good cohesive family. Phoenix Rise is one. You guys, San Francisco Fire. You see it somewhat in Miami as well. It's fun to see that in some of the teams. Some other teams don't have it, and you can see by their record how much that actually reflects on the team. I think that cohesiveness really helps out quite a bit. So what is your nutrition like? So wait a minute. First of all, let me back up a little bit. You're a coach at UC Berkely, which, by the way, that's amazing. My dad graduated from there, and I think it's amazing that you did. You are, is it strength and conditioning coach, or what? Yeah. What is your position?
So I'm a strength and conditioning coach for men's water polo, women's swimming, and then men's and women's diving.
Holy crap, men's water polo. They have got to have the strongest legs ever and core, right?
They do. They're we've gotten stronger in the past few years since I've been here. They're a great group. I absolutely love them. And one of the reasons I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach was not only am I really passionate about lifting and conditioning, but I really wanted to work with sports outside of swimming. Swimming will always be very near and dear to my heart, but I really wanted to see how other teams, programs, sports worked in that world.
Right. Now, through the other sports, do you put them through functional fitness type of programming or not?
So I wouldn't say a lot. I get a lot of questions about, because you do CrossFit, do you make your athletes do CrossFit? And no, I mean, we do circuit style training at certain points in the year that I guess you could say, I'm sure if that workout was put in a CrossFit gym, you could say it's, it's that. CrossFit, but for the most part, no, just because, you're trying to, I'm just trying to get them to be better water polo players, swimmers, divers, not necessarily the best lifters, because always the strongest athletes in the weight room may not be the best in their sport. So we're just trying to get them to be the best in their sport. And, if they can, it doesn't really matter if they can bench 300 pounds and squat 400. If that's not going to translate, then that, won't work. So we're always trying to make sure that everything I do with them in the weight room is going to translate to them in the water.
Do you program for each individual athlete that's there, or do you program for the whole team as a whole?
So I start with programming for the whole team, and then depending on, especially with swimming and water polo, depending on their events or their position, I'll go in and change specific things if they need changing. And sometimes we work around injuries and stuff like that. So we'll have to, take out exercises, add different ones in.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on the show, and good luck this weekend against LA. And I can't wait to see you, and I'll give you a high five out in Anaheim for the start of the playoffs.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Good luck, and thanks a lot for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Hope you guys liked this episode as much as we did. We had a blast. Most of it was because of this Tully-Do right here.
God, so good.
They are not paying us, by the way. I wish they would. Jesus.
Wouldn't that be
Mary
nice?
and Joseph.
Can I get some shekels?
Can a brother get a shekel? It doesn't even have to be plural.
Just a penny.
So here's the deal, guys and gals. If you're grid fans, if you're in the anywhere in Northern California to like, I don't know California that well.
Right. If you're Orlando South too.
Yes. So here we go. If you're anywhere near San Francisco, if you can get to San Francisco, go watch this match. San Francisco Fire versus LA Reign, blowout.
It's going to be a blowout.
We're
but
calling
you know
it.
what?
But it's going to be good, though.
But I talked to the ownership of San Francisco Fire, and there's going to be awesome vendors there. It's going to be a big.
These guys know how to
party.
throw a party.
Oh hell yeah!
That's why we're telling you to go.
Oh, they're expecting 1,200 to 1,500 people by the way.
Yeah, this is going to be. If we could make it out to San Francisco to watch this match, we would go.
Oh hell,
because it's going to be great. Miami
we
versus
just don't
Phoenix.
have the shekels, which we mentioned,
or the time.
Right.
If you're anywhere in the Florida area near Miami, Fort Lauderdale, whatever. Obviously, if you're watching this show, you're going to go anyway. But I'm telling you, this is going to be the match.
Miami and Phoenix has got it going on. This is going to be just as good as the Brawlers New York match or the Phoenix versus who did they play? L.A. match. It is going to be
But we're calling
phenomenal.
it here. We're calling it here. Miami
by
San
a hair.
Francisco.
Yeah. So which, by the way, means that Miami will be in the playoffs. So it'll be Miami and San Francisco in the playoffs.
Love you, Phoenix.
And it'll be D.C. and Boston.
We're calling it Miami because it's a home crowd. It's a hometown advantage. And I feel it in my heart that Coach Chapman is going to be really angry.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to.
He's got pissed.
And he's got the talent. He's got the talent on the team to make it happen. I think it's going to be Miami. It's definitely going to be San Francisco Fire. And.
So what do you guys think? Let us know on social media. Yeah. Hit us up on our messengers or email Danny@thegridcast.com, Conan@thegridcast.com.
I probably won't get your email.
Hit up the matches. If you're there at the matches,
1,000 emails a day.
Take some pictures. We'll give you some credit.
Oh,
take some pictures.
Yeah.
Send it to us.
Yeah.
Let us know how the experience was. That would be awesome.
And without further ado,
clean up your jerks and snatches. Drink your beer in batches, and always dominate your grid matches. See you later, guys.
See ya.